Look no further than 910 AM Superstation.
3, 2, 1.
Let's go. 910 AM Superstation. We are the future of radio.
To the Nolan Finley Show. We're joined now by Todd Schleiger, Todd Schleiger, who says, I can be governor, even though I'm not a Democrat or Republican. And when we talk about political contests, we always talk about whether the Republican or the Democrat is going to win. But there are other choices on the ballot, sometimes several other choices. And Todd Schleiger of Lake Orion will be among those names on the ballot. And Todd, you got about as good a chance as anybody else?
I believe so, yes.
So how does, as an independent, I mean, how do you craft a campaign? How do you get started with this? How do you try to excite the grassroots?
Well, first off, I mean, I've always been an independent, never been a registered Democrat or Republican.
Okay.
And I've always voted on my conscience, so to speak, to whichever candidate would do the best for my family and my community. So, but Flint got me into the race.
Okay.
I grew up in Flint, and so when the Flint water crisis happened, I had no choice. I had to join the race. I believe Lansing and Washington are lacking one main thing, and that's common sense.
Well.
So, but that's a word that usually doesn't go with politics anyways.
Right.
Either way, as an independent, I feel I can work both sides of the aisle and get things done for the people of Michigan, and we really need a real voice in Lansing, and we're not currently going to be getting that. I don't think by electing a Democrat or a Republican at this point in time is a good thing for Michigan either.
So as an independent, how do you get on the ballot? Is the independent party a formal party, registered party that can nominate candidates to the ballot?
No, there is no formal independent party here in Michigan.
And so how did you get on the ballot?
Well, I went out with my volunteers. I've been actually campaigning for 3 years. We went out and we gathered 32,000 signatures, and the state turned down saying we had too many unregistered voters.
Okay. So
the second time we went out, we gathered 36,000 signatures. And they came back and said that we had too many unregistered voters. The third time we went out there, we got wise. We started carrying registration forms. And we mailed out quite a few to the counties. But the U.S. Taxpayer Party came to me and asked me if they could nominate me.
Okay.
Which that automatically freed up all our time and volunteers in order to be on the ballot. So I accepted their nomination in July. On July 14th, and we've been on the ballot since then, and we've been out campaigning and interviewing.
So you're running as the candidate for the U.S. Taxpayer Party.
I'm running as an independent for the U.S. Taxpayers Party.
And so when you're out there campaigning, I assume you work. Do you have a job? Or are you retired?
No, I work. I work 60 to 70 hours a week.
And then when do you work in your campaigning?
Generally, a couple hours before work, I'm generally doing my research, and then after work I go out and I start talking to people door to door.
So it's you just pick a random neighborhood and head down the street, start knocking?
That's the way it works.
So you have your lieutenant governor candidate with you today, Earl Lackie. Is he out there beating the doors down too?
Yes, I am, sir.
Earl, are you full-time politician, campaigner, or you got a job?
No, I'm actually retired, so
okay.
I'm doing this pretty much full-time.
So you can get out there during the day when Todd's working and pick up some of the campaign slack. What's the response you get?
Well, I'm from Royal Oak, which is mostly a Democratic area, and I'm been rather surprised because I'm a registered Republican. And even talking to the Democrats in a highly Democratic area like Royal Oak, when we talked to them about our stances and Todd's platform, which was identical to what I was running with, we're actually getting Democrats that say, well, yeah, I'll vote for you. we like
Okay.
what you have to say.
So, Todd, realistically, and you've got to have some realism to you, even though you have to believe in your candidacy to get out and do this. Realistically, this is a long shot, right?
Well, anytime you bring the term independent in there, they like to say it's a long shot.
Yeah.
But from what we've been talking to with the people here in Michigan, Michigan's prime for an independent. They're tired of the party politics that the two major parties are playing with our families' lives. I mean, they've made promises for decades to fix our roads. They still haven't done that. They've had the ability to lower our costs for health insurance here in Michigan, and they haven't touched that.
So talk to us about the positions that set you as an independent candidate apart from the Republican and Democratic candidates you'll see on the ballot.
Okay, first off, neither Earl or I am career politicians.
Mm-hmm. What was your career?
I'm in the transportation industry, have been for 35 plus
Okay.
years.
And Earl?
I retired from General Motors.
Okay.
We both come from the middle class, so
Okay.
like you said, we're not career politicians. We're just normal, everyday working people.
Okay, so now what's the message then? What are on the issues, how are you different than what people are choosing from?
Well, how am I different?
Mhm.
I'll tell you how I'm different. I'll actually do what I say I'm going to do. These politicians that are out there, and they are career politicians, the majority of them. The fact is, they have to follow what their parties tell them. If not, they commit what we would call political suicide. They don't get any backing behind their parties if they don't listen to the parties. And there's so much money, dark money, floating behind these two main politicians. I mean, all you got to do is trace the money, and you'll see what we're talking about. I mean, you got Blue Cross Blue Shield that's giving money to both politicians. Of course, the Democrats want to point out more than that the $2,000 Gretchen got was from employees and doesn't want to hide it, or doesn't want to say that it's actually corporate money.
So let's hear from Vernon. Vernon, thanks for calling.
Thanks for taking my call. There's a point I'd like to make about independent candidates and also libertarians or people with the Green Party or any third-party person. People say you're wasting your vote. My thought is you are not wasting your vote. If you want to vote for the winner, vote the day after the election. You're not voting for the winner. You're voting for the strongest, best candidate. My thinking is assuming the person loses, you are giving that other party recognition, so we are not saddled with just a two-party system.
Thanks, Vernon. I don't disagree with that. In the last presidential election, when the Detroit News looked at its choices in terms of a presidential endorsement, we didn't like what we saw, despised what we saw on both the Republican and Democratic tickets, couldn't in good conscience salute either one of them. So we went with Gary Johnson, the Libertarian candidate, and everyone called us and said, you're wasting your endorsement. You're wasting your vote. He can't win, which is absolutely not true. If your name's on the ballot, everybody gets up in the morning on election day and picks your name when they go to the polls, you absolutely can win. You get enough votes, you can win. There's no barrier beyond that. And to say, well, you can't win because you're a third-party candidate, of course you can win as a third-party candidate if you garner enough votes. And that was our point in trying to, it wasn't a protest endorsement. We truly thought of the three candidates, he was the least flawed. I heard somebody say the other day, it's not necessarily a choice of the lesser of two evils. It's the evil of two lessers. And I thought that was a pretty good description of things. I mean, sometimes these parties give us absolutely miserable choices, and we shouldn't be above taking a look at the other parties on the ballot.
Well, let's get to the positions and how you guys compare to the other candidates then. If you ask a Republican where they stand on things, you'll ask them, where are you on guns, babies, and taxes? And if you ask a Democrat, you might pick a few social issues or hot-button issues and ask them where they are on women and social service programs and so on. Where are you guys, and how do you compare? How do you build a brand that competes with the two major parties out there that are competing with each other? Todd?
Well, first off, I mean, one of the main questions I get is which direction do I lean?
Right.
And I don't lean
it's a false
either
choice.
direction.
Right.
I stand tall for the people of Michigan. That's what I like to tell them. Because, I mean, first off, I'm a strong constitutionalist. I believe in our Constitution, okay? Anytime you attack the Constitution, it kind of gets my dander up. So that if that'll tell you right there, I'm a strong Second Amendment advocate. I'm pro-life, which, to me, I just don't believe tax dollars should go towards an abortion, okay? But I personally am pro-life. I don't believe in interjecting my personal beliefs into what we should be doing for the people of Michigan, because we have to think of the general population. So I won't be putting my beliefs into the campaign or the administration.
Right.
So, but, I mean, like I said earlier, where I stand differently is to the fact that I will do exactly what I say I'm going to do. When I say I'm going to lower auto insurance up to 70%, I have a plan to do that. Where I'm going to cut the cost for the people of Michigan for on health insurance, I have a plan to do that. So, I mean, it's all right there. It's at the website there. They can easily check out. It's just simple, checktodd.com. I'm the only Todd on the ballot. That's why we came up with it, just checktodd.com.
So when you talk about the resources it takes to campaign, how are you raising funds? Are you spending your own money, or are you out there gathering dollars here and there?
Well, so far I've been self-funded. I take a third of my check every week and put it towards my campaign. We are now starting to get some funds from donations. We just recently opened up to getting donations.
Okay.
So if people were to go to my campaign finance page, they'd see that it's blank, other than they have to go into the in-kind contributions where it shows where I've put my money into it.
Todd Schleiger, Earl Lackie, have either one of you ever run for office before?
Actually, I ran for governor myself in the Republican ticket, and
Okay.
obviously I didn't make it.
Yeah.
And then when Todd and the Tax Party came to me and said, would you be interested in running as his second, I said, sure, give it a try. Because I believe when I sat down and talked with Todd, our campaigns and our slates, we were almost identical. We really didn't have anything that we disagreed upon.
Okay.
As far as that's concerned. And things like taxes and the roads, we both want to see our taxes come down, and Todd has a real good plan for doing that. Such things as the roads and our infrastructure, it has been ignored for way too long. And things like what Gretchen is saying is, fix the damn roads. Well, we plan on doing the same thing, only we're not going to wait 17 years to do it. She's waited this long. Why did she wait? We don't plan on waiting, because we're the type of people that are actually out there driving on the roads every day. Both of us have been in the transportation industry, and we're seeing the damages being done because of our roads and because of the lack of government involvement in getting our roads done. And certain things like the 696 structure that they're doing now, the first quarter mile that cement they poured, they had to tear back up because they did it wrong. And on top of that, they're also using 2012 standards. They're not even up to date on the standards that they're using from Lansing. So we need to get into office and get certain things changed, like the standards. Bring them up to date.
So, Todd, have you run for office before? Is this your first time out?
I've never personally wanted to run for public office. I've stayed out of it. Like I said, Flint is what brought me into it, so the answer to that is no.
Are you having trouble finding forums, platforms to speak, to reach voters?
No, actually, my media person, Chris, he's doing real well with that.
Okay.
I imagine there's a lot of media sources that are really getting tired from hearing from him, but he's hammering on their doors to get us in so the people can hear our message.
Let's hear from John. John, thanks for calling.
Yeah, good morning, Nolan. Yes, I don't think newspapers should be endorsing any candidate. I think when I hear the candidates say you go to my website, I think a lot of people don't have access to a computer to go to their website to see what they're doing. So I would believe the newspapers should be asking them, how are you going to fix our roads? How are you going to drive down our health insurance? What are you going to do? And put it in print so that people can actually read what's going on with that.
John, we do that every day, but I appreciate.
Okay. There you go. Thank you.
Okay. So, I mean, you obviously won't be on the debate stage when these candidates.
Oh, we're trying to change that. We're really getting into their stuff, so to speak. And right now, from what I understand, we're only polling at 2%, but we're working hard to get that percentage up.
So you need to get up to 10%?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How many other third-party candidates are on the ballot in Michigan this year?
We have the Natural Law Party, the Green Party, the U.S. Taxpayer, which is myself, and I believe, well, Bill Gillino, I don't know if you would consider him a third party still because they made it to the primaries, but he likes to consider himself major party status now.
In the Libertarians?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, Todd Schleiger, we appreciate you coming in to talk to us today. I assume you're on your way either to the campaign trail or to work this morning.
Well, I'll be campaigning and working on some TV commercials.
Okay. And your running mate, Earl Lackie, thanks for stopping by, telling us your story. Good luck.
Thank you, Nolan.
And who knows? Maybe we wake up on election or the day after the election and are surprised.
Well, if they really want change in Michigan, that's the only way they can do it.
Okay. We got to get to a break, guys. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.